This is your invitation to join me in Ireland in April 2026. Hi, thanks so much for joining me again here on the Traveling in Ireland podcast. Today, I'm going to talk just a little bit about my Traveling in Ireland tours. And today is actually really specifically about the giant adventure that takes place next April 2026. It is, I don't know, it's a tour that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I'm excited to finally be bringing it out. But I want to tell you a little bit about my tours and my philosophy on tours before I get into what this tour actually includes. So, if you want to take a look at the Giant Adventure Tour for next spring, you'll be able to find that information at IrelandFamilyVacations.com/giant, GIANT. Now, I don't run tours year round. It's not the core of my business. So the tours that I do, they're really special to me. I've created them from scratch based on a theme or experience that I'm really excited to share. So this giant adventure tour actually came about after my husband and I spent a good solid amount of time just through, basically points north of Dublin. And we had some really great, unique experiences that it just made me really excited to be able to share those things with the people who are listening to my podcast or have been getting Ireland travel information from me for quite a while. Now, when I do a tour, it really is a one-off. I may never do this tour again. I mean, in all honesty, I may not do any more guided tours after 2026. I don't know. Like I said, it's not the core of my business. So my tours do have that feeling of exclusivity and limited opportunity. These tours are created to reflect my expertise and the passions that I have for the people that I've met as I've traveled through Ireland and the small, unique local businesses that I've had a chance to experience and I want to share with others. When I create a tour, it's really all about the balance of that tour, giving you that iconic Ireland that you want to see and experience, and also weaving in the kind of moments that you're not going to find in the general Ireland guidebook or even on another tour. I'm not a checklist type of traveler. Instead, I like to create tours that leave room for connection, flexibility, and just loads of fun. I think that your travel should feel personal, not necessarily a package that anybody can purchase. And so I choose my accommodations very carefully. The meals and the activities that I focus on are going to reflect the flavors and the culture and the character of Ireland. So no matter what we're doing, if we're, rolling up our sleeves to knead some bread, or we are on a food tour or on a cliff walk, these are all going to be experiences that they require time. They require conscious effort to include. And they're not just a pull up, take a picture, get back in the vehicle and move on to the next spot. My groups are kept intentionally small. I want everyone who joins me to feel seen, to feel included, to feel like they're really part of this trip and not just along for the ride. Now, the close-knit setting makes it very easy to connect, not just with me, but with the people that we're meeting and interacting with as we travel. You're going to get the chance to ask questions, to talk to the people that we're visiting, and, to really feel like you've been included, enveloped by the experience, I guess. And you're also going to feel like you've made some friends along the way. The group that you're traveling with is going to possibly end up feeling like an extension of your family. I have so many guests that have stayed in touch with the other people that they've traveled with, that they have, formed bonds. They've taken other trips together. And I actually even have a group from autumn 2024, so nearing on a year ago, that still has an active WhatsApp chat that has family updates and corny jokes and anything that makes them think about that trip, whether they're in a pub somewhere and they're having a pint, or somebody saying happy birthday. So it's so fun to see things come together like that as well, that goes beyond the Ireland experience. So at the heart of it all, my goal with my tours is simple. It's for you to return home with stories, friendships, and maybe even a deeper connection to Ireland that makes you want to go back and experience more of the country. Whether it's on your own, or, maybe it's another tour with me down the road if another one comes up, or maybe you're inspired to get together your own group of family or friends and work with me to create your own unique adventure. I just want you to really fall in love with Ireland the way I have. Maybe not on the point of obsession, but to really understand and love the country and love your experience. So, with that in mind, and kind of that little bit of backstory about me, I want to share the giant adventure that is planned for next spring. Now, each day is designed with a balance of Ireland's must see sites, unique experience, and then enough time for you to discover a bit of the location we're in that day on your own. I really believe that it's important to not be guided every minute, that having the personal time lets you experience each stop in your own way, whether that means you're wandering down a side street in Belfast, or you have a cup of coffee from the Causeway Hotel and you are just standing and looking out over the North Atlantic and feeling the sea spray on your face. Or maybe you're just taking the time to relax and enjoy the downtime because it is a vacation. So when I'm designing the tours, all of those things are really in mind to make it an experience that hopefully you'll remember forever. So, without further ado, the giant adventure itinerary. Now, this tour is taking place from April 16th to the 24th of 2026. I chose these dates for a really specific reason. First of all, I had, Easter, so we're after Easter, but we're before Mother's Day. And the great thing about April is that, believe it or not, it is one of the driest months in Ireland, and it traditionally has more sunshine than any other month of the year. You're getting longer days. The temperatures are getting a little warmer every day. The weather is relatively mild. It's a beautiful time of year to visit, and you're also getting there before the crowds start to come in. So the high busy season is going to start in mid-May, and actually the last few years we've really seen May becoming a more and more popular month to visit. So end of April, we're going to miss that that uptick that really starts in May. Now, this tour has, just to kind of tick off the high points. So there's a maximum of 12 people on this tour. There will not be any more than that, except me. I would make 13. We are going to have 8 nights of very carefully selected 4 and 5-star accommodations, with 1 night in a castle. And these accommodations were chosen for their, the warmth of the welcome, the charm of the hospitality, and the really amazing locations as well. Every morning we'll start with a daily breakfast. So you've got that bed and breakfast type experience, and you're going to have a nice hearty meal to kick everything off. You are going to enjoy a food tour in Belfast. We're going to have tasting experiences. We're going to have some hands-on experiences and really just get those flavors, those amazing flavors of Ireland. So fresh, so local. And just, yeah, they're just incredible. I'm a food person. I love some really great food. So I know that this is going to tick some boxes with foodies. We are going to have 4 group dinners. I'm hopeful that our timing will work out, that we will have a lovely afternoon tea as well. We are going to have hands-on workshop. It'll either be bread making or a visit to a local cidery is one day. And then another, we're going to choose between a whiskey tasting or an artisan chocolate experience. So these experiences are actually going to be selected by the tour group before they happen. So before we leave, you will know what's happening, but it'll be 2 of those 4 experiences. All of them are wonderful. There are no wrong choices. I thought it would be kind of fun to maybe, see what was going to be the most popular experience to have and see what everybody wanted to do. We will have guided tours in both Belfast and Derry. Our driver guide will be taking us through the areas of Belfast with the murals and the peace walls. That's going to be a really, really great tour. And then we'll have a walking tour in Derry. So we'll get to learn how these experiences through the Troubles have really shaped the people and the politics through Northern Ireland. We are spending 2 nights, if I'm remembering correctly, at the Causeway Hotel. Now, this hotel is directly adjacent to the Giant's Causeway. So there will be evening and morning opportunities to get out to hike above the Causeway cliffs, which is phenomenal. If you really want to, there's an amazing staircase that goes down the cliffs onto the Giant's Causeway. I've climbed it upward. I don't necessarily want to do that again, but I am looking forward to climbing downward on it. And being on the causeway when there are no tour buses there is an experience that just cannot be overstated for how incredible it feels. We are going to visit my friend Jamesy, who is a 4th generation shepherd. We're going to get a hands-on look at sheep farming. You're going to be able to meet his skilled working dogs. He's going to tell us about the different, he uses whistles and voice commands. It's amazing. I mean, it is truly amazing to watch these sheepdogs at work. So I'm really excited for that. We will also enjoy lunch right there on the farm, as well as some lamb snuggles and doggy cuddles. So it's a great, fun farm experience. And then as we leave the north, we are going to kind of follow the footsteps of the immigrants that left Ireland and traveled to the US. This is, especially if you've got any type of Irish heritage, a really poignant experience that truly takes you through that story. And I think it's a spot that so many people aren't aware of, and really just, it's easy to bypass if you don't know that it's there in Tyrone. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now, this tour is fully guided, so we will have a private driver guide and a very comfortable vehicle for our touring. Our driver guide is just incredibly knowledgeable about Ireland, about the history, and so passionate. I mean, if you think I'm passionate about Ireland, being with one of our driver guides is a whole unique experience. It's so much fun to talk to them, to ask questions, and to get their insight. So I absolutely love that as well. Now, the price on this tour is $4,329 per person sharing. This is for 2 people per room. There is a single supplement available as well. And the website explains why there is a supplement on this tour, why it's not the same price for everyone. Now, this tour page that I mentioned to you, IrelandFamilyVacations.com/giant, has a day-by-day highlights. So you'll be able to see what each day includes, a few images of the experiences, and a bit more information. So just as a quick overview, day one is the day we leave Dublin. That is the 16th of April. And we are going to head directly north and begin with a hands-on experience of either bread or cider. We're going to enjoy a light lunch and then move on to Belfast for a tour of the murals and peace walls. And then that evening, we will have a group dinner that kind of kicks off the tour. On the 17th, we are going to visit Titanic Belfast. You can't go to Belfast without visiting the Titanic. So we're going to start there, and then we will do a walking food tour through Belfast. And then after that, the afternoon and evening are yours to enjoy. So you'll have plenty of information to be able to get out and do exploring on your own. You'll have walked through the streets. You'll have some ideas of places that you want to return to. And of course, there will be recommendations ready if you need them. One of my favorite things to do in Belfast in the evening is actually to walk the Maritime Mile. It's not, the beginning of it isn't that far from our hotel. And it is a walk along the water between kind of that downtown Cathedral Quarter area of Belfast to Titanic Belfast. In my experience, it's a very safe area. You're going to see loads of people out jogging and enjoying that area. And it's just a really nice, even, flat walk. It is not taxing at all. It's a great evening. And then, maybe at a pub or two and enjoy a little bit of Belfast in the evening. On the 18th, we are going to start at one of my favorite places, which is St. George's Market. This is a weekend food and artisan market. So it's going to be the perfect place to pick up a one-of-a-kind souvenir. And you can also grab something to go for our lunch later that afternoon. Leaving there, we're going to head to the Antrim coast, and you will have the chance to cross the Carrick-a-Reid rope bridge, sweeping beautiful views of the Atlantic. But I am going to tell you, that bridge, I don't want to fall. I'm afraid of falling. I don't know that I'm afraid of heights, but I'm definitely afraid of falling. And every time I go down the steps to get on that bridge, I always forget how steep they are. That said, if you can overcome the fear of that, it is something I highly recommend. It is an experience that is not soon to be forgotten. We will head from there. We're going to stop for a lunch break, and then we will move on to the Dark Hedges. So the dramatic avenue of trees that have been made famous in Game of Thrones, steeped in myth, and in all honesty, they're getting to the end of their life. So seeing them, as time goes on, it's going to become more and more rare to get the chance to view these. So we are definitely going to visit the Dark Hedges. And then we are overnight at the Causeway Hotel and having another group dinner. On the 19th of April, we are starting at the Giant's Causeway. Like I said, this hotel is directly next to the Causeway. So if you're up for a morning hike, we can do that. Otherwise, we will head down after it opens. There is a bus that actually runs from the top at the visitor center down to the bottom. If you don't want to walk it, you can completely do this without the big hike up and down, up and down the big hill. Later that morning, we will have another tasting experience, either chocolate or whiskey. And then we're going to follow the coastal route toward Derry with some photo stops at Dunluce Castle and the strand below Mussenden Temple. Hopefully, time will allow for us to return to the Causeway Hotel and enjoy a wonderful afternoon tea, a late afternoon tea. It is enough to fill you up. And then you will have a relaxing evening there on the coast to enjoy in your own way. On the 20th, we leave our coastal accommodation and we head into the Sparran Mountains. This is where we're going to meet Jamesy and spend the morning on the sheep farm. And then after lunch on the farm, we're going to visit the Gorta famine story at Friel's Pub. Most people, when they think of the famine, they think of it happening mainly to the Catholics in the South. But you had Catholics in the North as well. And I think the Gorta famine story really shares the story very, very well. Following that, we'll have a drink or two there in the pub, and your first round is on me. Then we head on to Derry, and we will have a guided walking tour of the city with my friend Glenn. At Derry Guided Tours, we're going to go from the walls of the castle. So Derry is completely surrounded by a massive wall. So it's a walled city. So we will go from the walls down to the bogside murals. It's an absolutely amazing story. And then we will have another group dinner, plus some local tips where to find the best pubs for your night out. On the 21st, we're actually going to cross into the Republic of Ireland, and I'm going to take you to the northern end of Ireland. We will spend the day on the Inishowen Peninsula, dramatic coast, quiet villages. There's even a magic road, so hopefully we can get the magic to work and you can experience the feeling of a magic road for yourself. We're also going to visit an ancient stone ring fort and visit the northernmost point of Ireland at Mallinhead. We'll come back to Derry that evening, and the night is yours to enjoy as you wish. So obviously live music, a quiet pint, a wander along the city walls, or just your time to kick back and relax and enjoy our accommodations. Now on the 22nd, we are going to start to head back south, and we will be traveling to County Cavan. Along the way, we are going to stop at the Ulster American Folk Park. So this is an open-air museum that traces the story of Irish immigration, and you'll have some immersive exhibits. There are costumed interpreters. There's a full-scale immigrant ship there as well. And it just is a really terrific way, like I said earlier, to walk through that history that so many people have, whether they went to America, to Australia, to Canada. They all followed a very similar path. And to feel like that you're following that path in their footsteps is it's an emotional experience, to be honest. And I am so excited for you to experience that. Now, this evening, we are going to arrive at Cabra Castle. This is our castle stay. My husband and I stayed in this castle this past spring, and I instantly fell in love with it. Between the welcoming people and the fact that walking through this castle, it literally feels like you're walking through a maze as you travel from point one to point two. It's a wonderful castle. I'm very excited for us to stay there, and we will have a farewell group dinner in these beautiful storybook surroundings. But the tour isn't quite done yet. April 23rd, our last final day together, we will travel in through the Boyne Valley, so Ireland's Valley of Kings. We're going to visit the Hill of Tara, where Ireland's ancient kings were, I don't want to say crowned because they really didn't get a crown, but this is where the kings were elected. You know, they became king of all Ireland. We are going to visit the medieval stronghold of Trim Castle, and also we will visit Newgrange. So Newgrange is aligned with the winter solstice. It is older than Stonehenge. It is older than the pyramids. Truly an incredible ancient site, and that will be kind of our final hurrah, if you will, of this tour. There really is no better way to wrap it up. That evening, we will arrive at our Dublin hotel. We will say goodbye to our driver, and it kind of marks the close of what I hope is an unforgettable journey through Ireland's landscapes and legends. Now, if this intrigues you, if you want to see some pictures, learn a little bit more, again, you can visit IrelandFamilyVacations.com/giant. Gant. And that is going to take you to the page on my website that completely details this tour. You're going to see images of some of the places we'll be visiting and get some more detail of the thing we'll be doing. There are also some frequently asked questions at the bottom of the page that talk more about payment options, the single supplement, and how many people are going to be on this tour. As always, you can email me with your questions. Just drop me an email at Jody, Jody, at IrelandFamilyVacations.com. I am more than happy to answer your questions via email, or if you would like to hop on a call with me, either a phone call or a Zoom call, we can arrange that because I would love to personally answer your questions about this tour and hopefully be able to help you make a decision on if this tour is right for you. Even if this tour isn't right for you, maybe it's inspired you to consider visiting the north of Ireland. And if it has, don't forget that I do have an Ulster itinerary, and you'll find that at IrelandFamilyVacations.com/Ulster, ULSTER.